In the year when my boyfriend was at his poorest, I broke up with him. Later, when he achieved great success and fame, he used every means to marry me. Everyone said that I was his white moonlight, his most beloved wife. Until later, he brought different women home every night. He broke my heart completely, and turned me into a laughingstock in the circle. Yet I neither cried nor made a fuss, quietly residing in the study, never disturbing his affairs. He was furious, fiercely kissing my lips and whispering, "Aren't you jealous?" He didn't know that I was ill. Every day during his crazy revenge on me, I was silently counting down how many more days I could live. In the third year of my marriage to Chen Yinzhao, he kept a young and beautiful female college student. The girl's name was Zhou Qiaoqiao. She looked pure and lovely, exactly the type that Chen Yinzhao liked very much. Chen Yinzhao had been supporting her for more than half a year. Besides me, she was the woman who had stayed by Chen Yinzhao's side the longest. My friends advised me to be careful. They all said that Chen Yinzhao seemed to have truly fallen for Zhou Qiaoqiao. The first time I saw Zhou Qiaoqiao was on my birthday. I started having nosebleeds from the morning, and went to the hospital for an examination. The doctor said that I probably wouldn't live past next spring. I nodded gently and whispered, "It doesn't matter. I'm not afraid of death, but I'm a bit afraid of pain." I heard that there was a very expensive medicine that could make me more comfortable. Since there wasn't enough money in my bank card, I went to Chen Yinzhao's company to look for him. Coincidentally, I met Zhou Qiaoqiao there. She had just graduated, and was working as a secretary beside Chen Yinzhao. Chen Yinzhao was in a meeting, so I sat outside and waited. Zhou Qiaoqiao kept staring at me, and secretly said to the colleagues around her, "So that's the boss's wife. She's so ugly. She looks so gaunt, as if she's about to die. You all say I look like her. Where on earth do we look alike? I'm much prettier than her." My reflection was shown on the shiny glass. I had no makeup on, and was wearing a bulky down jacket. Indeed, I didn't look good, and I was indeed about to die. A colleague pulled Zhou Qiaoqiao and whispered, "That's because she's not dressed up. If she put on makeup, 10 of you combined wouldn't be as beautiful as her. Also, don't rely on the boss's favor to provoke her. You don't know how much the boss loves her. If you make her unhappy, be careful that the boss will make you pay." I heard that Chen Yinzhao loved me very, very much. Zhou Qiaoqiao pouted unconvinced and rolled her eyes at me. She brought me a cup of tea and said in a soft voice, "Sister Mengmeng, how could the boss bear to make you wait so long? It's so strange. Every time I came to see him before, no matter how busy he was, he would come to accompany me first. He said I was the most important. I thought he was that considerate to all women." She smiled sweetly, her eyes curved. The way she smiled was very much like me when I was young. I thought about it. Chen Yinzhao was indeed different towards Zhou Qiaoqiao. He had countless lovers around him, using them as tools to vent his anger on me. He brought different women home every night, testing my reaction time and time again. Chen Yinzhao never lingered with them for long. Maybe for a day or two, or maybe for 10 days or half a month. He always got bored very quickly. Zhou Qiaoqiao was different. Chen Yinzhao kept her outside, accompanied her to have meals, go shopping and watch movies. They were like an ordinary and affectionate couple. Chen Yinzhao gave her money, and also his love. I looked at Zhou Qiaoqiao, smiled at her and gently asked, "You are so important, Chen Yinzhao. How could he bear to make you be a mistress in the shadows? You should persuade him well to divorce me early and marry you." Zhou Qiaoqiao's face suddenly changed. She flew into a rage and hissed, "The one who is not loved is the mistress. You are the redundant one. You just met Mr. Chen a few years earlier than me, but now you are old and ugly. What can you use to compete with me?" Her colleague, probably afraid that I would be angry, quickly came over and grabbed her arm, trying to pull her away. Actually, it didn't matter to me. I had already told myself, I wouldn't get angry because of Chen Yinzhao, nor would I be sad for him, and definitely not be jealous of other women because of him. He didn't deserve it. Zhou Qiaoqiao was pulled and lost her balance, falling to the ground. The teacup in her hand shattered, and her palm was cut with a deep wound, bleeding all over the floor. Chen Yinzhao, through the glass of the meeting room, saw the injured Zhou Qiaoqiao. Everyone was looking at him. He threw down the documents in his hand, pushed the door open and came over, scooping Zhou Qiaoqiao into his arms and coldly snarling, "Who the hell hurt her?" That kind-hearted colleague took 2 steps back, his face turning pale with fright. I sneered and said, "I did it. And she deserved it." Zhou Qiaoqiao cried and glared at me shouting, "Yes, I deserved it. Who asked me to fall in love with the wrong person? Being called a mistress, a concubine. But Mr. Chen, as long as you love me too, I will stay by your side for a lifetime. No one can separate me from you." She cried so cutely. Even when saying such absurd words, she seemed brave and determined. Chen Yinzhao was amused by her. He reached out to wipe away her tears and coaxed, "Be good. You've cried like a little tabby cat. He was truly different towards her. I lowered my eyelids, too lazy to look any further, and merely said to Chen Yanzhao, I want 500,000 for my birthday this year. It's rather laughable. We are husband and wife, yet we don't even have each other's contact information. Except for asking for money, I never initiate contact with him. Before getting married, we had an agreement. He wanted my person, and I wanted his money. Chen Yanzhao has always hated me for being a gold digger. But in the past, whenever I asked, no matter how much money it was, he would give it to me, always more than I asked for. Wei do this time, he looked at me with a cold smile and said unhurriedly, you can have the money, but in Meng first, lower your noble head and say sorry to Qiao Qiao. Chen Yanzhao intended to buy myself, esteem for 2 million, and buy an apology for Zhou Qiao Qiao. This was the first time he humiliated me with money for another woman. I slowly clenched my fists, forced a smile, and enduring the sudden pain surging through my body, turned and left. I didn't want the money anymore. I suddenly became very curious. Chen Yanzhao, if one day you knew that this money could make me live a little longer, and you knew how much suffering I endured before my death, what expression would you have? I returned home alone, curled up in pain in the quilt, sweating coldly from the pain. I took some sleeping pills, lying to myself that I wouldn't feel pain once I fell asleep. In a drowsy state, I had a dream. I dreamed of when I was 20 years old. Chen Yanzhao was very poor, but he loved me very, very much. On my birthday that year, passing by a coffee shop, I saw a couple sitting in front of the glass window. The girl was holding a small snow-white cake in her hand. It looked very delicate, delicious, and expensive. I still remember that it was snowing heavily that day. I held a small pile of snow in my hands, smiled at Chen Yanzhao, and asked him, Yen, does this pile of snow look like a cake? Chen Yanzhao gritted his teeth, reached out and hugged me tightly, not letting me see his secretly reddened eyes. 3 days later, he appeared downstairs of my dormitory, holding a big cake. Buying a whole cake cost 258 yuan, while he could only earn 100 yuan, after handing out 3,000 flyers, while standing on the snowy and windy street. Looking at the chilblains on his fingers, I cried helplessly and shouted at him, Chen Yanzhao, your hands can be used for reading and writing, but never for spoiling them just to make me happy. I said, I don't deserve such an expensive cake at all. Chen Yanzhao furrowed his brows and immediately refuted me. He said, and Meng, you are the best girl in the world. You deserve all the good things in this world. That day, I cried while eating the whole cake. After a long time, I can no longer remember its taste. I only know that after that day, I seem to have never eaten a cake better than it. I slept for a long time. In a daze, I heard my phone ringing. When I answered the call, I heard Chen Yanzhao shouting my name, and Meng. I gently smiled and sweetly called him Yen. I said, it's snowing heavily. I want to eat cake. Before he could speak, I turned over and fell asleep again, sleeping soundly until midnight when I woke up from hunger, and went to the living room to find something to eat. Only then did I discover that Chen Yanzhao had actually come back. He bought a big house for Zhou Qiao Qiao, and they lived there together. Zhou Qiao Qiao would cook for him, make him happy, and wait for him to come home. Chen Yanzhao was living a good life. He hadn't come back for a long time. He was lazily leaning against the French window, with a cigarette in his mouth, staring straight at me. I lowered my eyes and walked past him, but he suddenly grabbed me. He furrowed his brows and softly asked, why have you lost so much weight? His tone was gentle, as if he still loved me deeply. I was stunned for a moment, then forcefully shook off his hand and cursed, Chen Yanzhao, what the hell are you doing? He looked at his empty palm, and his face gradually turned cold. When I walked to the dining table, and saw a cake filled with candles on the table, I realized that the call wasn't a dream. I said I wanted to eat cake, and Chen Yanzhao bought it back. What was this? A peace offering? But I was almost dead. I no longer needed a cake, nor did I need Chen Yanzhao. I grabbed the cake, and threw it into the trash can. Chen Yanzhao gritted his molars, reached out and pinned me against the wall, viciously cursing. And Meng, you're fucking playing me. I admitted with a smile. Chen Yanzhao, I'm just playing you. So what? I said I wanted to eat cake, and you went to buy it. Why are you still as stupid as before? I deliberately stabbed him in the heart. Watching Chen Yanzhao's face completely turn cold, he fiercely extinguished the cigarette, dragged me into the bedroom, and threw me onto the bed. Chen Yanzhao was probably furious. He was like a wild beast out of control, roughly tearing open my nightgown. I was scared and clenched my fists to hit him. Chen Yanzhao, you bastard. Don't touch me. I think you're dirty. He clamped my legs to prevent me from struggling, and lowered his head to bite my neck. The pain made me shed tears. He whispered in my ear. And Meng, would it kill you to yield to me? Do you know how many years I've been waiting for you to coax me? Do you know how happy I was when you told me you wanted to eat cake? And then you fucking treated me like a fool. He raised his head, his eyes blood red, staring at me. I held back my tears and glared back. In the dimly lit room, neither of us spoke, neither of us willing to admit defeat first. Chen Yanzhao leaned down, getting closer and closer to me. He was about to kiss my lips when his phone suddenly rang. It was Zhou Qiao Qiao calling. Chen Yanzhao paused for a moment but still answered. I heard Zhou Qiao Qiao crying and asking him, Mr. Chen, do you really not want me for Sister Meng Meng? You clearly like me. I'm at the bar now. I've drunk a lot of wine. A man is harassing me. I'm so scared. Can you come and pick me up and take me home? Chen Yanzhao didn't speak. He just stared at me, smiling coldly and softly commanded me. And Meng begged me. Beg me to stay. As long as you beg me, I won't go. He seemed to have forgotten that a long time ago. I had also lowered my dignity to beg him. Chen Yanzhao, can we talk calmly just once? Can we stop quarreling? Can we be together well? Can you be a little nicer to me? That day, Chen Yanzhao stared at me indifferently and said with a smile, "And Ming, you don't deserve it." These 3 words had been stabbing my heart until today. Finally, I could return them word for word. I grabbed his collar and said word by word, "Chen Yanzhao, you don't deserve it." Chen Yanzhao was silent for a moment, then suddenly laughed self-deprecatingly. He put the phone to his ear and said to Zhou Qiaoqiao, "Wait for me to pick you up." Without looking at me again, he got up and slammed the door as he left. The next day, photos of Chen Yanzhao fighting with another man for Zhou Qiaoqiao spread in the circle. This was the first time that his affair with another woman became public knowledge. There were several reporters guarding outside the door. When I went out, they pestered me with questions. Chen Yanzhao's company had developed rapidly in recent years and had great influence in the Beijing circle. He was young, wealthy and handsome, very famous online and often on the hot search. A girl asked me, "Mrs. Chen, do you have anything to say about Mr. Chen and Zhou Qiaoqiao?" I walked forward on my own, without looking back, and retorted, "One is a man who cheats during marriage, and the other is a woman who willingly acts as a mistress. What do you want me to say?" The girl chased after me and continued to ask, "But I heard that when Mr. Chen was at his poorest, you dumped him for money. Later, when he became successful, you used emotions to blackmail him, and used every means to marry him. Now that Mr. Chen has found his true love, he and Xiaoqiao are a perfect match. It's you who insists on occupying the position of Mrs. Chen, and calls others a mistress. Don't you think you're bullying others?" I stopped, looked back with a cold smile, and grabbed the girl's work ID on her chest. She was an intern reporter. On the back of the ID card holder, there was still a student ID from Nanshan University. I asked calmly, "Are you Zhou Qiaoqiao's friend?" Back then, Chen Yanzhao did everything he could to marry me. Do you think I really wanted to marry him? This is known to all our friends in the circle. You don't know. Or are you here to smear me specifically to help your little sister become the legitimate wife? Her expression changed, and she hurriedly snatched back the work ID, arguing righteously, "I'm indeed her friend, but I'm also a reporter. What I say is objective and fair. If you really didn't want to marry Mr. Chen, then since he's in love with someone else, why don't you divorce him?" I smiled, and just as I was about to speak, I suddenly started having a nosebleed again. I looked very embarrassed. Someone laughed and said, "Mrs. Chen says she doesn't care, and that she was forced to marry Mr. Chen. Why is she so angry that she has a nosebleed?" I stretched out my fingertip, wiped off the blood that had fallen on my lips, and said calmly, "I'm not angry. I'm just sick and about to die. I often have nosebleeds recently." The crowd suddenly fell silent. Everyone stopped laughing. Only the girl continued, "Stop acting, having a nosebleed, and starting to pretend to be sick and pitiful. I really can't stand a woman like you. You're always acting like you're going to die for a man. You've used all the shameless tricks. You're really a disgrace to us women." After she finished speaking, she tossed her ponytail and left. Her back was as lian as Zhou Qiaoqiao's. I was surrounded by reporters, and the video of the interview quickly became a hot topic. Chen Yanzhao gave a positive response. He said he would never divorce, and asked people not to disturb his wife anymore. That afternoon, Zhou Qiaoqiao's reporter friend was fired. Many netizens cursed me, saying, "This woman is so disgusting. If she didn't want to get married, she shouldn't have. It's as if no one forced her at knife point, pretending to be involuntary." They also said she was Boss Chen's white moonlight. In my opinion, she's just a hypocrite. Boss Chen protects her so much. I'm jealous. Moreover, this woman dumped CEO Chen for money before, and now married him for money again. She says she's unwilling. She's just being pretentious, trying to be a whore and set up a chastity archway at the same time. Suddenly, a netizen interjected, "All of you shut your filthy mouths. Shut up if you don't know the truth." Everyone started chasing after him, asking what the truth was. Speaking of this matter, it's actually quite common. That year, my mother got a terminal illness. The doctor said the genetic probability of this disease was extremely high. Not only was I likely to be seriously ill at any time, but if I got married and had children, probably my children would also be at risk of getting the disease. The day my mother had an attack, she had a basin full of nosebleeds. She lost too much blood and was in a coma for 3 days. When she woke up, she told me to break up with Chen Yanzhao. I stared at her blankly and whispered, "Mom, he won't dislike me." It seemed like I was talking to my mother, and also to myself. Mom gently held my hand, nodded and said, "Mom knows he's a good kid." She paused and then smiled. "You two have been dating since high school. He rides a bicycle every morning and waits for you at the alley entrance. Do you think I don't know? Once I saw him buy a Rujiamo to give you as breakfast. He had a total of 12 yuan in his pocket. A Rujiamo cost 10 yuan. And with the remaining 2 yuan, he bought 2 cups of soybean milk, one for you and one for him. At that time, you were greedy and naive. He lied to you that he had eaten, and you believed it. You ate the Rujiamo with great satisfaction. How poor little Chen was at that time. His parents divorced and no one wanted him. He was only given a little living expense every month. He lived like an orphan. 12 yuan might have been his daily living expense, but he spent it all on you without hesitation. At that time, I thought my daughter was lucky to find such a good boy. He was good at studying, kind-hearted and good in every way. Just because he was so good, Mom felt sorry for him. That year, Chen Yanzhao's grandmother was also sick and hospitalized. He grew up with his grandmother, and had a deep bond with her. To treat his grandmother's illness, he was so busy that he was at his wits' end every day. My mother said Chen Yanzhao's wings were too weak. Carrying his grandmother and me at the same time, he wouldn't be able to fly. I pinched my palm. After a long time, I said in a trembling voice, "Mom, I can't bear to part with him. Just thinking about what happened 10 years ago still makes me feel sad." I bought my mother's favorite persimmons, planning to go to the cemetery to see her for the last time. I was about to die and wanted to tell her that I wouldn't come anymore. Before going, I first went to Chen Yanzhao's company to get something. When my mother was still alive, she had always liked Chen Yanzhao. That year, she wasn't sick yet, and Chen Yanzhao and I were still deeply in love with each other. My mother went to the temple to worship Buddha, and prayed for 2 lucky dolls. One was a boy doll with Chen Yanzhao's birthday hidden inside, and the other was a girl doll with my birthday hidden inside. They were supposed to ensure safety, health, and that lovers could be together forever. Mom asked me to burn the lucky dolls for Chen Yanzhao. Chen Yanzhao didn't want his lucky doll but insisted on taking mine. He said, "That little girl doll with red cheeks looks so much like you, ugly, cute and funny." He said that when he saw it, he was like seeing me. He liked seeing me. That lucky doll is still placed on Chen Yanzhao's desk until now. I was afraid that after I died, Chen Yanzhao would throw it away like trash. It was bought for me by my mother. I had to get it back, and place it in front of her tombstone to accompany her for me. When I arrived at the company, Chen Yanzhao was watching the video of me from the morning. In the video, I had a nosebleed and said I was about to die. When he saw me, he threw his phone aside and said nothing and asked nothing. I looked at the place on his desk where the lucky doll was originally placed, and found it empty. I furrowed my brows and asked him, "Where's my lucky doll?" Zhou Qiao chased after me. Hearing that I was asking for something, she said with a smile, "A few days ago, I pricked my palm. Mr. Chen was very Xinteng. He said he couldn't bear to see me get hurt, so he gave me that lucky doll. He also said that the doll looked a lot like me, a bit stupid but he liked it. Sister Meng Meng, do you think he's talking nonsense? I'm so beautiful. I don't look like that ugly doll at all." I suddenly clenched my fists tightly, and stared at Chen Yanzhao fiercely, asking him, "How dare you give my thing to someone else? That was something my mother prayed for me. How dare you give it away?" He smiled like a scoundrel and said, "Is that lucky doll your thing? Sorry, I forgot. I thought it was something worthless." Before he could finish, I picked up the ashtray on the table and threw it at him. Chen Yanzhao didn't dodge. The crystal ashtray hit his forehead and drew blood. Zhou Qiao let out a scream and cursed me. "Are you crazy? Hitting someone for a crappy doll?" She turned around and ran out. Soon she came back, holding my lucky doll in her hand. She threw the lucky doll at me and shouted at me, "Here's your thing. It's a cheap thing that no one would feel sorry for if it's thrown away. Do you think I care? Stop going crazy. Take your thing and get out." The ceramic lucky doll fell to the ground and shattered into pieces. I saw my name and my birthday broken into several parts, just like my life. Probably it could never be repaired again. I suddenly felt that I was probably really going to die, but I didn't want to die yet. I hadn't seen my mother. I was afraid that if she couldn't see me, she would keep waiting for me. My head buzzed. I raised my hand and slapped Zhou Qiao, shouting like a madwoman, "That's my mother's thing. I feel Xinteng. I will feel Xingkeng." Before I could finish speaking, tears fell. I reached out to pull Zhou Qiao, but Chen Yanzhao grabbed my wrist and stopped me. My eyes were hot. I stared at him intently, and then I laughed while crying. I cursed him. "You know I'm going to die, and you still bully me. Chen Yanzhao, you're really a bastard." He raised his hand to wipe away my tears and retorted, "First the cake, then the key. And Meng, is it really that fun to play me? You don't need to cry in front of me. I won't feel sorry for you anymore." Before he could finish speaking, a drop of blood suddenly fell and landed on the back of his hand. I had a nosebleed again. This time it was more serious than before. My legs were weak, and my whole body hurt so much that I couldn't even stand. I fell straight down. Chen Yanzhao caught me and shouted for an ambulance. He was helpless and could only watch helplessly as my blood flowed more and more, staining his white shirt red. I was in a coma and heard Chen Yanzhao crying, asking over and over again, "Why? Why can't the bleeding stop? Stop bleeding. And Meng, please don't scare me." I smelled the smell of disinfectant in the hospital. I heard the doctor say to Chen Yanzhao, "Originally, she could have lived until next spring, or maybe even longer. But she said she had no money, and didn't want to be treated anymore. Now her condition is out of control, and there's no need for further treatment." Chen Yanzhao retorted, "So you're saying my wife is going to die?" Before the doctor could speak, he suddenly raised his voice and cursed viciously. "I want my wife to live. If you can treat her, treat her. If you can't, get out. Replace the doctor." That day, Chen Yanzhao almost smashed the ward. He found countless expert teams, saying that no matter how much money it cost, he wanted to keep me alive. But for terminal illnesses, money couldn't necessarily cure them. Chen Yanzhao was stubborn and wouldn't listen to anything. He wanted to take me out of the hospital, and take me abroad for treatment. He had money and power, and no one dared to stop him from making a scene in the hospital, until my best friend Lin Zhaozhao showed up with my will. A long time ago, I had made a notarized will, entrusting everything to him to decide. I said that if one day I was lying in bed, unable to move, eat or drink, don't bother. Just let me go. He knew that I was most afraid of pain. Zhao Zhao raised his hand and slapped Chen Yanzhao, pointed at his nose and cursed, "You have a lot of money. What the hell were you doing earlier? Showing off now, Boschchen? It's too late. It's too late." She's going to die. You can't take her anywhere. Where I am she is. Chen Yanzhao stared at the will in Zhao Zhao's hand and froze in place. After a long time, I heard him say in a sobbing voice, Lin Zhao Zhao, let me take her away. Please. Trust me. She can survive. She can. She won't die. What am I going to do if she dies? Zhao Zhao looked at him calmly and coldly cursed. A heartless man like you can live well without anyone. Stop pretending to be affectionate here. It's disgusting to yourself and others. He pushed Chen Yanzhao away, sat by the bed and held my hand. As soon as he opened his mouth, tears fell. He asked me, do you really not want to live anymore? His crying made me feel sad too. I really wanted to raise my hand to wipe away his tears and tell him not to feel sorry for me. I was just going to take a very, very long nap. Once I fell asleep, I wouldn't feel pain. He asked me again, can you wake up one more time? You said you wanted to say goodbye properly, so that there would be no regrets when you leave. You haven't said goodbye to your mother or to me. How can you bear to leave? My tears fell along with his. The life monitor suddenly made a sound. The doctor quickly asked Zhao Zhao to talk to me more. He said I showed signs of waking up. That day, Zhao Zhao held my hand and didn't even dare to drink water. He kept talking to me. He cried and laughed alternately. It was quite scary. I originally planned to die, but with him like this, it felt inappropriate for me not to wake up and comfort him. I struggled hard against my already deteriorating body. Finally, I opened my eyes in the middle of the night. In the more than half a month after I woke up, Zhao Zhao stayed by my side every step of the way. He took care of me to the point of obsession. He fed me, accompanied me to the toilet, and almost helped me take off my pants. I was anxious in my heart and wanted to get better quickly. If this continued, Lin Zhao Zhao would go crazy. While he was not in the ward, I tried to go to the toilet by myself. Could I walk without anyone's support? As a result, when I came out of the toilet, my legs suddenly gave way, and I fell to the ground hitting the sink. My face was covered in blood. I struggled to get up and accidentally tore off the cloth covering the mirror in the toilet. Looking up, I saw a terrifying face. Chen Yanzhao rushed in and hugged me, not letting me look anymore. He said in a low voice, just for the time it took to pay the bill, where the hell did Lin Zhao Zhao go? He's really useless. I couldn't push him away and furrowed my brows to interrupt him. Stop speaking ill of Zhao Zhao in front of me. I don't like it. He has his own life, family and work. Unlike me, who has nothing to do all day and only causes him trouble. Chen Yanzhao closed his mouth and didn't say anything more. He found a lot of tissues to wipe my face. Looking at the blood-stained tissues, his eyes turned red. He pretended to be calm and asked me, why didn't you tell me earlier that you were sick? What's your mouth for? You could have gotten better. Do you know that in Meng? Why did you have to be so stubborn and end up like this? I said calmly, because I don't need you. I don't need your care or your company, so whether you know I'm sick or not is not important to me. Actually, I never deliberately hid my illness from Chen Yanzhao. My medical examination report was placed on the table, in a position where he could see it by just looking down. But he never took a look. In the days when I was gradually losing weight, Zhou Qiaoqiao appeared by his side. That girl was younger, prettier, and more likable than me. Chen Yanzhao started not coming home all night for her. So he didn't see me falling to the ground countless times, suffering excruciating pain. Because of fear, I cried while calling the doctor, begging him to save me in a sorry state. Chen Yanzhao carried me onto the hospital bed. When he bent down, a tear fell on my face. He turned around and sarcastically said, yes, and Meng, you're so amazing. You can dump me whenever you want, and tell me to get lost whenever you want. I know you don't need me. If you don't need me, then fine. After a long time, he continued in a sobbing voice, but I need you. I didn't say anything and closed my eyes, pretending to be asleep. Chen Yanzhao still didn't know why I broke up with him in the past. That year, when he achieved great success and fame, and came back to look for me, saying he wanted to marry me and take me home, and that I owed him a proper explanation. I had originally planned to tell him everything. I wanted to tell him that all the harsh words I said when we broke up were lies. He was wonderful and deserved the best girl in the world. They would have a happy family, healthy children, without the burden of poverty and the torment of illness. I recited these words countless times, hoping I could smile and say to Chen Yanzhao, live a happy life from now on. No one knew how many times I cried in the dark. I felt so regretful. Why wasn't I the girl who could accompany him for a lifetime? On the day I sorted out my emotions, I wanted to find Chen Yanzhao. He was discussing business at a club. Probably we couldn't have a good talk. His voice sounded a bit drunk. After hanging up the phone, I was worried and still decided to go. I called him, but he no longer answered. When I arrived at the club, I had to search for him room by room. When I finally found him through the glass on the door, I only saw him holding a woman in his arms, kissing passionately. I pushed the door open and entered. He turned around and saw me, not looking flustered at all. I held back my tears and asked him, Chen Yanzhao, are you playing with me? He pushed the woman away, approached me with a strong smell of alcohol, cornered me, and raised his hand to wipe away my tears. He coaxed me with a smile. I originally wanted to play with you, but that day when I went to your place, and saw you living so pitifully, I felt Ran. And Meng, how about I really marry you and take you home? But I don't love you anymore, so you have to be good. Don't cry or make a fuss. I have many lovers. If you're always jealous, I'll be very annoyed. When I heard Chen Yanzhao say he didn't love me anymore, my tears fell. I took a deep breath and tried my best to stay calm, softly saying, Chen Yanzhao, I came to find you just to tell you that I don't plan to marry you. The reason I broke up with you that year was because of my mother. Before I could finish, he suddenly grabbed my chin and viciously cursed. Don't fucking mention your mother to me. You don't need to shift all the blame onto her. You and your mother are both money lovers. Neither of you is better than the other. He threatened me with a strong smell of alcohol. And Meng, when I said I wanted to marry you, I wasn't discussing with you. You'd better accept it with gratitude. He said he didn't want to hear my explanation. Once I made him so sad, he wanted to make me even sadder. Only then would it be fair. I looked at his face and suddenly felt it was so strange. Perhaps the kindness my mother and I showed him in the past was really just wishful thinking. Perhaps that year I should have held on to him tightly, made him worry about me, and let his fighting spirit be worn down by the poor life. I was really so stupid in the past that I even felt sorry for myself. He continued. I heard that Lin Zhaozhao used to work as a hostess in a club, accompanying people to drink, right? She's quite lucky to have found a good boyfriend. Do you think that man would still want her if he knew that Lin Zhaozhao used to be a hostess? I was so angry that I trembled all over and raised my hand to slap Chen Yinzhao, cursing him as a bastard. He pressed his tongue against the side of his face, smiled, and pinched my chin, saying, And Meng, to take revenge on you, I can do even more bastardly things. If you don't believe it, you can give it a try. Chen Yinzhao was ruthless. I didn't dare to try. I was afraid of ruining Zhaozhao's hard-won good life. I could only persuade myself that anyway, I had a lousy life. It was the same no matter where I was. So I agreed to marry him. This revenge lasted for a long time, until Chen Yinzhao got tired of it and wanted to make up with me. But I no longer loved him. I had beaten myself up so much that I looked like a pig's head, and I couldn't hide it from Zhao Zhao's eyes. He was extremely angry. For the next 2 days, no matter what I did, he would scold me. I was scolded to tears and covered myself with the quilt, shouting, You're such a mean-mouthed woman. You only know how to bully me. If you're so capable, take me to see my mother. You definitely can't scold her. Zhao Zhao didn't speak for a long time. After a while, he stroked my hair and gently coaxed me. When you recover, I'll take you to see your mother, okay? I knew he was lying, and also knew that I wouldn't get better. But I didn't want to make him worry, so I smiled and nodded, saying okay. I started to work even harder to recover my health, taking a large number of pills. The injections made my arms black and blue in patches, but I no longer cried out in pain. Chen Yinzhao watched from the side, gritted his teeth, and slammed the door as he left. At night, I heard him arguing with Zhao Zhao. And Meng wants to see her mother. Can't you understand? What's wrong with letting her go once? Zhao Zhao cursed him. I think you're just hoping she'll die soon, you bastard. You think she's lived too long, and is delaying your little mistress from taking over, right? I secretly wiped away my tears, hating myself for becoming a burden as I lived, making Zhao Zhao so Dinan. I no longer pestered to go see my mother, and my spirit gradually wilted. I started to be sleepy, and the time I was awake became less and less. I thought it was time to say goodbye to Zhao Zhao properly. Perhaps it was a flash of vitality before death. In the following days, my body hurt more and more, but my spirit got better and better. Probably hearing that I was recovering well, Zhou Qiaoqiao couldn't sit still. While Chen Yinzhao was away, she came to the hospital to find me. As soon as Zhao Zhao saw her, he cursed. Bitches and dogs are not allowed in here. You'd better get out now, or I'll beat you until your mother doesn't recognize you. But Zhou Qiaoqiao was Yifan Changtai. She suddenly knelt by my bedside and cried, begging me. Sister Meng Meng, I'm pregnant with Mr. Chen's child. You're almost dead. Please be a good person this once and give my child's father back to me. She was 3 months pregnant, and I had been sick for 3 months. So Chen Yinzhao, who said he needed me, had turned around and indulged in a dissipated life with other women. After all, what did he need a dying woman for? He was just lying to me. Fortunately, I didn't believe him. Zhou Qiaoqiao cried, and reached out to pull my arm. I was so weak that I almost fell off the hospital bed. Zhao Zhao protected me and was scratched several times by her. Suddenly, someone grabbed Zhou Qiaoqiao's hair and yanked her away. Chen Yinzhao gritted his teeth, as if he wanted to eat Zhou Qiaoqiao alive, and viciously cursed. Didn't I say that if you dare to provoke my wife, I'll fucking kill you? Zhou Qiaoqiao's expression changed. Just as she was about to speak, Zhao Zhao picked up the pillow beside him and threw it at their faces, shouting Imbanki. Take this bitch and get out of here. Chen Yinzhao dragged Zhou Qiaoqiao away. He said he would come back and let me wait for his explanation. Who would wait for him? I didn't care at all. Zhao Zhao looked down at me and softly asked, Meng Meng, are you okay? Is there anywhere uncomfortable? I covered my chest and pretended to be very sad, acting coquettishly with him. My heart hurt so much. I need to go shopping to feel better. He was amused by me and, seeing that I was in a good state recently, agreed to take me out. I bought a roasted sweet potato and got into his car. He had a cleanliness fetish and never allowed anyone to eat in his car. Relying on being a patient, I ate heartily in his car. The crumbs of the sweet potato fell on the seat. Lin Zhaozhao gritted his teeth and pretended not to see. I directed him to drive to a high-end bridal shop. She was going to get married in the spring, but I probably wouldn't be able to wait. I wanted to see her in a wedding dress. She didn't ask me why I brought her here. She just followed me into the store with red-rimmed eyes. We were the best of friends. We had a telepathic connection. I picked a strapless satin wedding dress for Zhao Zhao. When she went to try it on, I picked out a bridesmaid's dress for myself. I put on the dress and squeezed into her fitting room, taking a photo with her, as if I could still see her get married. I had good taste. Zhao Zhao looked extremely beautiful in the wedding dress. I asked her if she wanted to buy it. She rolled her eyes at me and whispered to me, "Buy what? It's so expensive. Just take a few more photos." I smiled, left her to show off in the fitting room alone, and quietly paid for it outside. She was the best girl in the world, and deserved the most beautiful wedding dress in the world. I endured the cruel pain in my chest, and left the bridal shop, taking a taxi to the cemetery to see my mother. Zhao Zhao, this time it's really goodbye. No joking. Don't cry. Epilogue. After Meng died, Chen Yanzhao was always thinking about what he was thinking when he signed the body donation agreement. He didn't expect that the day he dragged Zhou Qiaoqiao away would be the last time he saw Meng. He watched calmly as he and Zhou Qiaoqiao tugged and pulled, just like usual, as if he didn't care at all whether he had fallen in love with someone else. But he always felt that it was at that moment that Meng's heart really died. So she didn't wait for him to come back, and didn't give him a chance to explain. Her body was taken away by the hospital. He couldn't even get a handful of her ashes. And Meng was really too cruel. He began to regret not telling her at that time that Zhou Qiaoqiao was indeed pregnant, but the child wasn't his. That night at the bar, he drank too much and was dragged to the toilet and raped. By the time Chen Yanzhao arrived, it was already too late. Zhou Qiaoqiao was an expert at playing the victim. She said she couldn't drink, and that's why she got drunk. If it weren't for Chen Yanzhao making her sad, she would never have encountered such a thing in her life. Chen Yanzhao of course knew she was morally blackmailing him. But looking at her crying so pitifully, he suddenly thought of Meng. He softened his heart. He sent the scumbag who raped her to prison, and gave her money to have an abortion. But he couldn't give her anything more. He always thought Zhou Qiaoqiao was a very obedient girl. Although her temper had been spoiled by him, at least she was obedient. He didn't expect that he had raised a greedy viper that bit him hard when he wasn't prepared. He thought Meng should have hated him very much when she died. He also thought that clearly it was he who abandoned her in the first place. Why did she have the right to hate him? He asked Meng over and over again in his dreams. Why did you break up with me back then? Actually you loved me, right? The next moment, Lin Zhaozhao would protect Meng behind him and point at his nose, cursing. What the hell were you doing earlier? When she wanted to tell you, you didn't listen. Now that she's dead, you come to ask. Aren't you cheap? Then Chen Yanzhao would wake up from the dream. He wasn't afraid of Lin Zhaozhao. He was afraid of hearing Meng say that she had long stopped loving him. His heart began to have problems. The doctor advised him not to be too sad. He said he wasn't. He was quite calm. He even started growing flowers. There were some succulents on the balcony of his home that Meng had once raised. When he found them, they had all died. He heard that succulents were very tenacious. He wanted to try if he could revive them. When he got home at night, he would squat in front of those succulents and talk to them. He had seen Meng do this on a sunny afternoon once. She was squatting here, hugging her legs. When she looked back and saw him coming back with another woman in his arms, Chen Yanzhao slapped himself hard. He began to distort his memory. In his memory, in all of Meng's lonely figures his own shadow was added. He would hold her tightly, kiss her gently, and accompany her forever and ever. Later, at a certain party, he severely beat a cheating scumbag who was having an affair behind his wife's back. His former cronies all cursed him. Are you fucking crazy? You yourself change women every now and then. And you still call us scum. Why don't you go die? He had a breakdown and smashed the club room, saying they were all talking nonsense. He clearly loved his wife the most. Until everyone dug out the photo of him kissing Zhou Qiaoqiao. He froze and fled as if running away. He thought he must have been set up. He had to think about how to explain to his wife. He didn't want to make his wife angry. Being angry was so bad for her health. He rushed home. Just as he got off the elevator, he found a pregnant woman standing at the door. He seemed to know this woman. She was the one in the photo just now. A sense of fear welled up in his heart. Had this woman already looked for his wife? Had she said something nonsense to make his wife sad? He raised his hand and grabbed her hair, dragging her into the stairwell, and viciously cursed. Zhou Qiaoqiao, you really don't fear death. He pinched her neck and forced her to step back, and step back again, until Zhou Qiaoqiao missed a step and fell down the stairwell. Looking at the steps stained with blood, Chen Yanzhao smiled. Wonderful. No one could ruin his relationship with Meng anymore. 2 weeks later, Chen Yanzhao was sent to a mental hospital. His words and deeds were no different from those of a normal person. The only strange thing was that he always called a broken lucky doll wife. That doll was already very worn out, glued together, full of cracks, and missing a piece on the chest, as if it had lost its heart. Chen Yanzhao always placed it by his bedside, and looked at it with a smile. He asked his wife, why haven't you come to see me yet? Ayin misses you so much. Do you miss me? A moment later his eyes turned red, and he murmured to himself, I forgot. People without a heart don't know how to miss. He suddenly remembered that he had lost Meng's heart a long time ago. The end.